This is New Living Translation, Romans 12, 2 through 3. Don't copy the behavior, read it together. Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. Because of the privilege and authority God has given me, I give each of you this warning. Don't think you are better than what you really are. Be honest in your evaluation of yourself, measuring yourself by the faith God has given us. Next. It's another verse where it talks about something similar. And next slide. I'm working on it. Okay, so let me give you a little preface on this verse, okay? We live in a world where our times are very busy, right? We have a lot of things on our plate, we have a lot of distractions, right? But here it's saying be different than everyone else. Alright, I want you to think about it. Okay, we're going to read this verse. This is Romans 2, 19-24. Let's read together. If you are convinced that you are a guide for the blind, a light for those who are in the dark, and an instructor of the foolish, the teacher of infants, because you have in the law the embodiment of knowledge and truth, you then, who teach others, do you not teach yourself? You who preach against stealing, do you steal? You who... Oh my God.
You can't see?
Sam. You who abhor idols, do you rob temples? You who brag about the law, do you dishonor God by breaking the law? As it is written, God's name is blasphemed among the Gentiles because of you. Here, read the last part, okay? God's name is blasphemed among the Gentiles, so think of it like this. He's talking to the Jews right now, right? But he's talking to the believers. He's saying, because of you, Christians, the people out there don't see God. God's name is blasphemed among the Gentiles because of you. So you got to understand that context. So he's talking to the Jews. Get it straight. And I think God is also talking to us too at times, right? And I just want us to just understand the foundation as I go into other topics. Today, I'm sorry about the rush. You know, I've been given directive that we're going to end by 1:45. I just gave direction to the people that are going to come here afterwards to say, give us until 2 until we're done. So, but what I really want is I want us to have a time of interaction. And I want you to come up with questions, because when we go to the back after service, I want you to come up with questions so that we can talk about amongst ourselves. Are we truly living as Christians? Can we go to the next slide? There's something back there. I mean, I don't know how we're doing this. But, okay. But I don't need the slide really. But really the question to you is, are you guys really Christians? Yeah, and that's the question. You know, this is a question I actually posed to like some other pastors too. You sure you're Christians? It's alright, I don't need it. It's fine. And this is the key question that I have for you, us, right? I know that I rushed the musician, the worship team today, and I'm sorry for those of you that were trying to get the mic working, and you know, it was a mess, right? Oh, thank you. It was a bit of okay, it's so small, but it was a bit of a mess this morning, right? You know, I'm sorry I had to cut you guys short. But here's the key question about worship too, right? You guys know the song Heart of Worship? You know, when the music fades, all is stripped away, right? You know, sometimes I think, I used to be a worship leader when I was in high school, and then I went to college, and then the thing that I see in many people is they come to services when they're in like junior high school. Up to like junior high school, I think your parents basically force them, right? Your parents force you, your parents are going, so you kind of have to come to church. But then what happens when you get to like high school, and then you go to college? I'm really grateful for the college members that are here. Things get busy, right? You guys have a lot of work, and sometimes, you know, when you have an exam on Monday, you have all these essays that you have to write on for Monday, you kind of want to say, I don't know, it's Sunday, you know, I can skip it today, all right? You guys have that freedom to do it already in college. And then what happens after college? You guys get a job, right? And then life gets hectic, and then what? Then maybe you find a mate, and then you get married, now you have children. Life gets hectic, no? Okay, you don't know, but alright, but life gets hectic, right? And then at that time, do you want to continue to be a Christian, you know? And this is the trend of the world today, and the trend of the church today, that many young people don't come to church anymore. You guys know this, right? This is, you see even amongst your friends. Maybe some of your friends you went to church with in junior high, and then later on, they don't come to church. I remember talking to one of my friends. He pulled out his phone and said, Sang, all these people I knew from my high school youth. and 96% of them, they don't believe in God anymore. So that's why I wanted to talk about what does it mean to be a Christian? What makes you a disciple of Jesus? How many of you believe you're Christians? I want to see more hands. I mean, some of us are not even sure. Okay, so this is why I think it's important that what happens if, I was getting back to the story, let me get back to the story about me being in the worship team, right? I used to do that, but then when I go to high school, I play okay, right? And then when I go to college, I see all these people that are much better than me. And then, I don't know, I get to work, and then I just don't have the time to play the guitar, sing praise, right? And then, what? If I no longer play the guitar or worship with songs, and I'm no longer able to sing, I don't know, the latest songs, am I no longer a Christian? Or is that what makes you a Christian? So imagine all of you in the worship team, I just said, you guys, out, no more worship, I'm just gonna give sermon, and that's how it's gonna be from now on. Would you still worship God? That's what that Heart of Worship song is about. Get it? And I also, everything else, how about basketball? How many of you love basketball? If God cut off your legs or something, I don't know, something happens, right? You can no longer play basketball. Do you still worship God? Right? That's the key question I want us to ask. And I put down a few other questions. Should a Christian go to bar? Should Christians do well in school? These things I think we can discuss back there. If these are questions to you, jot them down because we can talk about them along the way. All right? But I want to ask you, are you growing as a Christian, and what makes you a Christian? And because of time, I'm just going to just briefly go through just a couple of verses. Hopefully you get the message. And then if there's anything that you're not sure about, ask me later when we get back there. Okay? Now, God looks at the heart. This is the key thing, right? Whether you do singing, whether you do basketball, whether you hang out with friends a lot, whether you play Fortnite, right? God is looking at your heart. Okay? So let's read this together. 1 Samuel 16:7. But the Lord said to Samuel, don't judge his appearance or height, for I have rejected him. The Lord doesn't see things the way you see them. People judge by outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Okay, and then Matthew 6. When you pray, don't be like the hypocrites who love to pray publicly on street corners and in the synagogues where everyone can see them. I tell you the truth, that is all the reward they will ever get. But when you pray, go away by yourself, shut the door behind you, and pray to your Father in private. Then your Father who sees everything will reward you. This also shows that you coming to church on Sundays doesn't make you a Christian either. Right? Just because you show up every Sunday and and you sit there or you sing praise and you do all these things in the church, there are many people that are in the church today. I didn't forget the scripture, but there's a verse where Jesus says, where many people came to him in heaven and said, Lord, didn't we prophesy in your name? We healed the sick. We did all these miracles in your name. And then what does Jesus say? You guys know? I don't know you. Isn't that sad? So you guys have been leading worship and doing all these things, preparing for every service, coming here on time, even though you have all these things to do, right? And then Jesus will say, I don't know you if you're not a Christian. Is that crazy? That's what it's saying. God looks at the heart, and it's the heart that matters. It's not the worship. It's not the singing. It's not the skills that God has given you, right? God looks at the heart. Okay, this thing's not working. All right, so what I want us to do is I want to pull out your phones, pull out your Bible app. Okay, we're gonna look at one of the scriptures. I want us to look at Luke chapter 10. Luke chapter 10, verse 25 through 37. Luke chapter 10. If you don't know, I have a Bible app. PT Bible is a Bible app that I created. You can use that. Luke 10, chapter 25, chapter 10, Luke chapter 10, verse 25 through 37. Luke 10, verse 25 through 37. Luke 10. Okay, Luke 10, verse 25 through 37. Many of you know this story actually, so it should be pretty easy. Okay. I'm going to be reading from the New Living Translation version. It goes, one day, an expert in the religious law stood up to test Jesus by asking him this question. Teacher, what should I do to inherit eternal life? This is a question about what do I really need to do to be a Christian? What do I need to do to be a follower of Jesus? Okay? And then Jesus replied, what does the law of Moses say? What does the law say? How do you read it? How do you understand what it means to be a Christian? And I think some of you guys can give an answer. What do you think makes you a Christian? Okay. Anyone have a good response to that? Yeah? Living for God? Good? Yeah, that's good. Now what does it mean to live for God? This guy actually answered it correctly. Let's see. Right? Verse 27. The man answered, you must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your strength, all your mind. Just like you said. Good. And love your neighbor as yourself. So there's the answer. Love God and love others. Love is our highest calling as a Christian. Okay? And then Jesus even told him, right! Jesus told him, do this and you will live. And the man wanted to justify his action, so he asked Jesus, so then who is my neighbor? So for us Christians, love is the highest calling. And today, I have several things I wanted to talk about, but I'm just going to focus on this one thing. In our culture today, we have so many distractions. How many of you agree we have so many things to do on our plate? We have our katok, we have our text, we have our Facebook, we have our school, we have Instagram, right? We have all these things, right? I mean, we all agree that we all are pretty much occupied. We have a lot of things on our plates, right? But that's the culture, all right? But what is countercultural as a Christian is what's opposite of busy? Not lazy, no. Busy and lazy is not the same. Diligent and lazy is opposite. Huh? Opposite of busy. Available. That's the word. I think, God is calling us to love. If our highest calling is love, we need to be able to be available to others and available to God. Because what it's saying is love God and love others. Why is that important? He's saying what we do to others is what we do to God. And some of us, I remember when I was in college, or high school and then go to college, people ask me, hey Sang, how you doing? Right? How do you guys respond when people ask you how you doing? How are you? Good, right? That's a standard answer, right? But I came to a point where I just got so much on my plate. I said, I'm so busy. It actually sounded pretty cool. I got so much on my plate, it sounds pretty cool, right? I'm busy. But then eventually, I think the world caught on. Everyone started saying that. Like I ask somebody, how are you doing? And then I heard somebody else tell me, Sang, I'm so busy. Like I got so much on my plate. Like that's what I used to say. But I realized that's not really a good answer. Because when you say you are busy, what you're saying is you have no time for others. When you have no time for others, you're saying you have no time for God. Okay? Let's continue on. Verse 30. Jesus replied with a story. You guys know this story, right? A Jewish man was traveling on a trip from Jerusalem to Jericho, and he was attacked by bandits. They stripped him of his clothes, beat him up, left him half dead beside the road. How many of you do you know that how many of you people know people that are beaten up, stripped of their clothes, left half dead beside the road? Do you guys know anyone like that? Frankly, in this world, I don't know. You guys all seem pretty good in church and stuff, so I guess I can't tell. But out there in the world, there's a lot of people that are going through depression, a lot of struggles. Some even with their family, there's family strife. There's difficulties in life, the things that you don't even see, right? And frankly, if you look to the person next to you, you might even see that, but then they probably won't tell you because you're not really available for them, right? We don't really know each other, and I think that's one of the biggest struggles in our church today. How do we, come to church once a week and just say, we're cool? We all put on this mask like we're happy, and then we kind of come and say, well, I'm Christian, yeah, I'm happy because I see Jesus here in our church, but you don't even know each other, right? So the calling is be available to each other, spend time together. If you guys are a little bit older, like college, go hang out with one another. Go to each other's campuses and have lunch together. You know, and get to know each other. I think that's what God called us to do, to deep relationship. We talk about relationship to God. What is, we talk about how, when we compare with other religions, right? We say something like, well, other religions, we may say God created people for His glory and all that. And, God, and the people have to go religiously serve Him. But Christianity is not like that, you know that, right? We don't robotically, do these, chants and stuff and then we're accepted by God. We are loved by God because of what Jesus did on the cross. And what does He call us to? And why did He create us? For relationships, right? And in our times today, because we're all so busy, we don't even know how to have relationships with one another. Our concept of friendship is Facebook friends, right? I'm a friend, I have 1,000 friends, right? But really, God called us to relationships, deep relationships. So I think it's really important that we build relationships with one another, deeply with one another within the church, so that when people come, they see that deep love amongst each other, right? That's how we demonstrate God, through our relationships. And then, so verse 30, so here's this man that's been beaten, right, half dead, and not a lot of people recognize him. Let's read verse 31. By chance, a priest came along, let's say modern day pastor or modern day Christian, one of you came along, Sang came along, oh yeah, I'm pastor, right? I come along. But when I saw the man not laying there, I better pass around to the other side because I don't have time for this, right? I've heard many sermons on this that because of priests back in the law, right? If he touches anyone with blood, they become unholy and they have to go through sacrificial and they probably have to go do a service right now, so they can't touch this man, right? But really, what I see here is somebody that was completely unavailable to a person in need. Verse 32. A temple assistant, a Levite, this is like one of you guys, like worship team members, right? So somebody that assists, these are the Levites in the scriptures, walked over and looked at him lying there. He saw all this, right? But he passed along by on the other side. Okay, then a despised Samaritan. This is a non-Christian, a person who is not a Christian. He came and demonstrated even more love than a Christian would. So, I don't know. Do you see this? Like, in our church, we need this transformation, I think. In our church, we need this. I think all the other churches need this. We need this transformation so that we can demonstrate Christ's love to the world. But it has to start here so that when we bring people, they can see it. Even outside, they can see it. We can't talk about going out to missions and all these things, but we don't even have it together here, right? And I think you guys know the story. This guy, this non-Christian, he took care of this man. Whereas I think Christians are busy, right? I think this is a calling for us. And even, like with the worship, so I haven't been able to worship as much, but then can I really still call myself a Christian? I hope so. And it is shown by our heart, by our love for God. And we really need to ask God to give us that heart. Right? Because sometimes with the ways of the world, we just can't, right? So this is where we rely on the grace of God and say, God, we need this heart. God, you can show us, you can teach us how we can love others. God, you know how busy I am, you know how many things we have in our plate. It's not to say that, we should give up all our responsibility. We need to be responsible to do those things. But God, give us the enablement so that I can be available to others and to love God by loving others. Okay? We do have to conclude soon. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna pray and then let's continue with the rest and then we'll talk more outside out in the back, okay? Let's spend some time in prayer. Heavenly Father, teach us to be your disciples.